Don't watch this. Is the title of this video. And I'm gonna watch it because it's
Go watch too much more of this. I'm gonna keep it real with
like
you.
queens.
I really don't know. I really don't know. I really.
This asshole look like like Dino from H Town. What's up, baby? What's up, baby? What would he feel if I say what's up, baby? You feel great. This is a drag queen who is promoting love, and I think he's sitting there and hates. Okay, so I watched some of the video. I woke up early in the morning to this bullshit. I watched it. Like, she has ice cream on her head in a good way. Updo, and I think that is a shit. I don't care. I had a roommate that was a drag queen. I can only dream. I'm taking these hot keys off. Hold up. I can only dream of having a drag queen friend. And I did. I know I did not. Because he did not like me. So see a nice drag queen. I don't get it. I just back. Mm-mm. How in the world? Alright. I don't know what's going on. Give me a second. Hot keys. Alright, here we go. So wait, hold up. He was talking about this other drag queen on the street. No, down the street. Talking to kids. And I did a reaction to the video. And I just felt like that was a waste of time. So here we go.
I'm pretty much done with it.
Done with what?
Without being persecuted or arrested.
With happiness. He's done with the happiness.
Meanwhile, Republicans these days are going on TV and they say something very disturbing, so I just want to give you a little bit of a trigger warning. They say that they want to eradicate transgenderism. Quote, eradicate transgenderism. And we should be very afraid. In the words of Beyonce, ring the alarm. Saying you want to eradicate a group of people is quite literally eugenics. Actress and black trans woman Laverne Cox was on TV recently, and she said that one of the first things that the Nazis did was persecute trans people. And they started by persecuting Magnus Hirschfeld, who was a German physician and an openly gay man, and he was the founder of the Institute for Sex Research. And they offered a variety of services to the LGBTQIA plus community. And when the Nazis first rose to power in the 1930s, they destroyed the institution, and they took all of the books and the documents and burned them in the street.
I have come home and I have stood at the base of the steps just dreading the 40 stairs that I have to climb up. And there's 40 because I've counted them.
I am deeply concerned
Oh,
when I hear that doctors who refer patients to gender-affirming treatment could be considered felons. There's not that much of a disconnect. It's not hyperbole to make these connections. The early church knew something about persecution, especially considering that their leader was crucified by the Roman Empire, while others cheered, crucify him.
Let's not act like the persecution that transgender individuals are going through can even stack up a millimeter in comparison to what Jesus endured on the cross. Let's not even act like that. That's just silly. That's just silly.
If you want a lesson in transformative grace, look no further than the words of Jesus on the cross when he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. It was the women of the early church that stayed with Jesus while he was being crucified. The Gospels list Mary Magdalene, Mary, mother of Jesus, Mary of Clopas. The Gospel of Mark also lists a woman named Salome, wife of Zebedee, or a relative of the disciples James and John, who are the sons of Zebedee. The women were the backbone of the church, and they still are.
You're not a woman though. You're a whole man in a costume, in a clown costume, with a shiny bathrobe on, with a peacock feather in your head. Like,
Our text today introduces three women by name: Mary Magdalene, Joanna, the wife of Herod's steward Chuza, and Susanna. And the Gospel of Luke tells us that these women were cured of evil spirits and infirmities, including 7 demons with Mary Magdalene. Now, that is a lot of demons. I have seen The Conjuring, and I have seen what one demon can do.
but hold on, let me say something. He's correct in one aspect. God did use women throughout the Bible in a mighty way, unlike anything that had been seen during that time period. And I think that says a lot. That definitely says a lot. But let's not twist the scriptures. But what could I expect? What could I expect? Obviously, they're going to twist and manipulate the scriptures. And you know what the thing is? People can twist and manipulate the scriptures to fit whatever narrative they want to. They can twist and manipulate it to fit whatever narrative makes them comfortable, makes them feel accepted. But that doesn't mean you have salvation. What did he say? Many will come to me and say, didn't I cast out demons? Wasn't I doing all this and that for the kingdom? But God's going to say, get away from me, for I never knew you. I never knew you.
Scholars tell us that this number 7 indicates a sense of completeness, meaning that Mary Magdalene was completely and utterly possessed by demonic whatever. And her exorcism with Jesus would have been a life-changing moment for her. I invite you to take some time to imagine Jesus coming in with his disciples to a town called Magdala, an ancient Jewish city on the Sea of Galilee, a fishing community with at least 2 synagogues, a central synagogue, and one in the fishing zone. This city looks like it is caught up in the day-to-day of living in antiquity, but it is known for its opposition to the Roman Empire. Magdala is a hotbed for rebel activity. It is a community that holds collective trauma from the violence of imperialism. We know that Magdala was a real place because archaeologists have uncovered it. This is where we meet Mary Magdalene, or Mary of Magdala is perhaps more correct. We see that the formula for her name is unlike other women of her time, like Joanna, the wife of Herod's steward Chuza, or Mary, mother of Jesus. Mary Magdalene is that girl who is referred to not by her connection with men, but where she is from. Mary of Magdala is the same formula as Jesus of Nazareth. She has inverted the patriarchy. She is the real deal, the woman with money and power and influence. Our text today tells us Mary Magdalene, Joanna, and Susanna provided for the early church, quote, out of their resources. They were the sugar mamas of the ministry of Jesus. Time and time again, we can find women in the Gospels who dedicate themselves to the movement out of a sense of gratitude for what Jesus has done and what Jesus stood for. The catch is the male disciples never show any gratitude. What a surprise. It is a gospel theme for the male disciples to fail again and again and again. They consistently misunderstand Jesus. They fell asleep in the Garden of Gethsemane, and if you're like Peter, you denied Jesus 3 times. So not the best track record. But you know who does not fail? Exactly, the women, Mary Magdalene included. The Gospel of Philip, which is a non-canonical gospel, you will not find it in your Pew Bible, tells us that Jesus was always with three Marys: his mother, his sister, and Mary Magdalene. You might think that's kind of weird. Why is everyone named Mary? The name Mary was one of the most common names in antiquity, so it's perhaps not that strange. It's also a bit different from the three Marys that we would see at Jesus' tomb. But if you're looking for consistency in biblical texts, you will not find it.
One of the most important elections of our time is just around the corner. We need a governor with the courage, vision, and proven track record of standing up for our families.
I'm just trying to figure out where he's going with this. That's why I'm sitting here. I really want to turn it off, but I also want to see where he's going to take this. Because I'm not seeing any.
Wait, what? No.
I'm not seeing any truth in sight.
The Gospel of Philip refers to Mary Magdalene not as the wife of Jesus, but as a variant of the Greek term koinonos, meaning a partner, an associate, a companion, or a person engaged in fellowship.
This is like me in church for
It does not mean wife. Mary Magdalene's place of prominence in the early church is consistently denied. Many folks today understand Mary of Magdala as a reformed sex worker. However, there is no biblical or scriptural evidence to say that Mary Magdalene was a sex worker. In fact, it's part of a patriarchal myth started by the Pope in the year 591, when he wanted to diminish the prominence of Mary Magdalene in the early church. And the Vatican ended up retracting this statement, but not until 1969, over 1,000 years later. I want to be careful because
where are we going?
Saying that Mary Magdalene was not a sex worker is almost like saying that's a good thing. So let's be careful not to demonize sex workers, especially those women and people of all genders who engage in that kind of work for their own survival.
For their own survival.
Scholar Karen King has said that for as long as the church has existed, women have been part of it, and their roles have always been challenged by men. Mary Magdalene is no exception. The Gospel of Mary tells us that following the resurrection, Peter was pissed that Mary Magdalene had received one-on-one teachings from Jesus. Peter says, "Did he really speak privately with a woman and not openly to us? Are we to turn around and listen to her? Did he prefer her to us?" And it might have been a dramatic interpretation, but it is quite literally the English translation. Then there's this fantastic clapback from Levi.
They got glitter.
Who are you to reject her? Certainly the Savior knows her very well, and that's why he did love her more than us. Karen King also tells us that this conflict was likely not fiction. It reflects a real historical conflict in the early church, as it is reckoned with who could be a leader and who could not. Mary Magdalene is one of the only women in the Bible to be mentioned in all four Gospels. She's mentioned in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and her prominence in the early church is undeniable. I've saved the most intellectually and theologically challenging bit for last.
Oh, thank you.
Because it was also a little bit challenging for me, gonna be honest. But I love it, and so I'm gonna share it with y'all. So as our text says, thank you again, Lisa, that Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Susanna provided for the ministry of Jesus out of their own resources, correct? They're footing the bill for the early church. Now, there are consequences to that. That would have made them patronesses, and it would have made them socially equal or perhaps even socially superior to Jesus at the time. And that's a lot to take in, because even today, we Protestants like to say that Jesus is the head of the church. No one else but Jesus, right? Well, wrong. It was more complicated than that at the time. Mary Magdalene could have very well been a co-prophet or a co-preacher with Jesus. Scholar Jane Schaberg has argued that Mary Magdalene was even meant to be the successor of Jesus after his death. Remember that it is Mary Magdalene who was at the crucifixion, at the burial, and was said to be the first to witness the resurrection. She proclaims the good news to the disciples, saying, "I have seen the Lord," helping to strengthen and guide them in their despair. We don't call Mary Magdalene the apostle to the apostles for nothing. The wisdom of Mary Magdalene is what kept the church alive and going, and if it weren't for Mary Magdalene, we might not have Easter Sunday. Sometimes you may find yourself in your very own Mary.
You trying to say if it wasn't for Mary Magdalene, Jesus wouldn't have been resurrected?
I don't know
Am I hearing that
what
right?
she's talking about.
Am I hearing that right?
This is like, I'm hearing you right.
If you're a woman who owns a business, then you need a virtual assistant. And not just any virtual assistant, you need a doer. Outsourced doers train and match virtual assistants with female entrepreneurs in all types of businesses. We're the best. And our doers aren't here to just check your emails and take the day off. Oh, no. You'll use your doer for just about everything. Funnel building, social media posting, scheduling, portal building, landing pages, video editing. They'll pick up your mother-in-law for bingo night, automation and tech setup. Bingo night? Wait, they're not actually going to do that, right? That's weird. But seriously, what can't they do? Absolutely nothing. They're perfect. Just kidding. But they are trained for whatever you don't want to do. So you can do what you do want to do and finally have the time to do what you do want to do so that you can do what you do want to do and you can do and not what you can't do or you don't want to do. So stop throwing your time away. It's time to do what you do best and let your doer take care of the rest. So click below to get started with your very own doer today.
Have you ever wondered what your tech or internet business is worth, but not sure where to start? Go to websiteclosers.com and learn how to tap into our database of over 1 million buyers and sell your business with confidence. If you are actively trying to sell your business, visit websiteclosers.com to take advantage of our free, no obligation business valuation and exit strategy consultation. Sell your business now at
Magdalene situation, where you are called to be a teacher.
Well, I laid down. That's how boring church is. So, sitting there. Oh, man. Well, Mary Magdalene did hit Jesus and went ahead and said that there'd be like, I guess, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't care. I don't like church. I don't care if it's drag or not. Well, Mary Mag, if I don't know what's going on, Mary Magdalene. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, stay hydrated, stay eating the whole pyramid and not exercise. Okay, bye.